council meeting for Tuesday, November 18th, 2025 to order. It is 6:41. Ms. Monroe, if you'd like to call the roll.
Mayor Don Barnard.
Here.
Tiffany Hollis. Here. Ryan Green.
Here.
Dave Seeland.
Here.
Jeff Barr.
Present.
Wes Coble.
Here.
Bob Orsini.
You can please stand for the invocation and pledge of allegiance led by Mr. Davis. Councilmember Seeland.
Lord, thank you for the bountiful blessings you provide to the Johnstown Monroe community. Thank you for providing us with leaders that listen, act on behalf of the community's best interest, and stay diligently watchful in hopes to keep the Johnstown Monroe area a close-knit, family-based community we have chosen to raise our children in, build our businesses in, and support with genuine care. Please continue to watch over our first responders who answer the call to service without question, selflessly putting themselves in harm's way to serve and protect, to respond to fire, medical, and other emergencies. Please keep them safe. Thank you for the spirit of the Johnstown Monroe community, a place where we lean on each other, knowing there will be someone there to lean on. Thank you for the food pantries and volunteer organizations that are stepping up to ensure all here have a happy holidays and a Merry Christmas. Please fill our hearts with love, fill our minds with wisdom and patience. Continue to guide our path to serve this community to the best of our abilities, to the level that our citizens deserve.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. I apologize for starting a little late tonight. Next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. We all received the agenda from Ms. Monroe on Friday. Does anyone have anything they'd like to add or delete from tonight's agenda? Hearing none, what is the will of council?
Motion to approve is written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion about the blinds too, because they're bothering.
Go for it.
We have a correspondence tonight from the Department of Commerce. This was for a liquor license that they have to be renewed, correct? Do the organizations that have these liquor licenses get notified? No, this
Just
is
get
a
the letter. I think it's up to us to object, so I sent the letter to Chief, so he would be, if he had any,
So you just need a recommendation from council?
I don't even think I need that. I think if there was an issue, all we would have to do is pass a resolution, and then that would have to go to Division of Liquor Control. But if there's no, it doesn't say there's any other action needed unless you want to challenge one of them.
Do you know which ones it is, Rustin?
It's all of them.
All of them?
It's all of them.
Okay.
All Class C and D retail permits that sell alcohol will expire on February 1st. So if there was any issues you had, we would just have to pass a resolution by January 2nd.
Anybody have any issues with our current establishments? Okay. Moving on. Actions on minutes. These are the minutes from November 5th, 2025. Thank you, Ms. Monroe, for getting them done so quickly. Does anyone have any changes or anything they see wrong with them? Hearing none, what is the will of council?
Move to approve as written.
Are all in favor of approval? No one opposed?
Okay. Citizens' comments on matters not on the agenda. Do we have anybody tonight, or do you have anyone?
I did receive one speaker slip. Mike 4.
Just remind you of 3 minutes. Thanks, sir. She will. She's the boss.
Thank you much. My name is Mike 4, and I live on
You don't have to tell us where you live.
Great.
Everybody's talking.
And then come in your house.
I know where he lives.
Sure do. I saw a post on the Monroe Township Johnstown Community Facebook page concerning the proposal for the traffic flow pattern downtown changes. And I have a background in construction as a construction inspector, and I looked at it and I felt a few questions, and I just want to bring them to you so that you can keep them in consideration going forward. First off, I wanted to commend the council for trying to get funding assistance from the state. I realize that state money can only be used on state and U.S. routes. The first question I had is, what is a C rating? And what level of increased traffic will downgrade it? Because as we've seen over the last 20 years, Johnstown's getting busier, and it's just going to keep getting busier. So the first thing I saw was on Pratt Street. Will it continue to be two-way between Oregon and Williams? Right now, it gets to be congested in traffic there because it's wide enough for 2 lanes, but not with a parking lane. So if you're changing Pratt Street, I would suggest you look at that change as well. I was wondering what prompted the change on Pratt Street on the opposite end of 37. I guess that'd be the north side of 37, to make it 2-lane traffic there by the drive-through. The next question I got is the stop bars. I see that you're planning on moving the stop bars back. Okay, I can appreciate that. Cars don't now cars don't always stop at the stop bars. They stop with their back tire, their back bumper in front of the stop bar, and I'm sure the chief can attest to many sightings of that. So how are we going to enforce them utilizing the new stop bars? Are we going to move the traffic signals themselves further back, so that they have to stop further back so that they can see them? And then at the intersection of Oregon and 62, I personally go into BJ's on Hamilton Road, and I go down Granville Dublin Road, and they have those concrete islands in front of the parking lot access road going into BJ's. And I frequent, almost every time I go there, I see at least one car making an illegal left turn across those or around those concrete barriers. We're going to have the same potential problem at Oregon and 62. We need to keep that addressed. One day last week, I came out of Kroger's, the far end exit into New Albany. It's one of those concrete islands there. The guy in front of me exiting from Kroger's, sat there looking for something in their truck, and then they finally made a left turn onto 62 and back into town around the concrete island. We're trying to She says I'm done, so.
You can finish up. We'll give you 30 seconds to finish up.
Okay. I understand that the concept is to make things better. We also got to look at future safety problems we're creating. I have an email I'll be happy to send to the village manager.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Anybody else?
That's all I have.
We're all good. Council committee reports. Planning and zoning, they met on the 12th. Their next meeting is the 25th at 6:30. Anything to report from that meeting?
Brief meeting, we just discussed a mural potentially going in everybody's building. We asked for a few more questions and clarification on that, and hopefully we'll see that back here. We don't have a timeline on that one, so we just asked for more clarification.
On design or?
Just on a few specific issues, design, whether or not the property owner knew that there would be a mural, and a couple other things. But it's something we're positive about, but we just want to make sure there's clarification on design and that applicant didn't. Hard to get.
Planning and zoning gets these ideas, is there, as the permit comes in, is there discussion that happens prior to the meeting, or is it all just happening in the meeting?
Happens. I mean, they discuss things with staff, obviously, when there's an applicant. They're gonna discuss things as they do with staff, but final vote on it, live. Get our information on Friday, and then Tuesday we
Is there a way to make that more efficient? Because again, I know staff does a lot of work with that, and they handle a lot of the paperwork and processing for that, but the questions are mostly generated from people that are on planning and zoning, correct?
Yeah, I mean, these could have all been answered tonight. Unfortunately, we just didn't have an applicant that showed up or a designee to answer any of the questions. So they were are all things that on the board and the staff all had questions about. So really, if everybody fills out their paperwork correctly the first time and shows up at the meeting, they can only handle it.
But still, there's questions that are generated from the members on planning and zoning.
There's a criteria that we look at. So, design review had a fairly large slate that night. They had, about a dozen different things to talk about at that meeting, and from what I understand, they went through fairly efficiently, and everybody that left had answers, relatively happy with the process. No, I agree, it's something that we all want to make move more efficiently, and I think we'll be able to do that here in the new year.
Okay, Design Review Board, they met the 12th. Their next meeting is the 25th at 5:30 at the Chambers. Ms. Monroe, anything to report from that one?
Like Mr. Green said, it was a busy night. They had 6 applications for COAs, various things, signs, garage, roofs, and they were all approved. What's next?
Finance met tonight at 4:30. Our next one is on the 24th at 4 o'clock. We're working on the budget. It'll be all budget on the 24th. So if you're interested, please come. And that's at 4 o'clock. Safety and Services, next meeting is the 2nd of December. Time to be decided in council chambers. Also a reminder that council will meet on the 2nd and the 9th of December. So they'll be just 1 week apart in December. Director reports. We received a report from the police chief. Does anyone have any questions on his report?
Is there anything to highlight in there that's outside of your? Well, how many did we have last year then? So we're on par.
Seems like way more. That's it?
There's 21 that actually have stopped, and you have to do something.
Very low for what I think.
Every other week. I do have a question as it relates to our public comment. If a car does stop past the stop bar, that's an offense that you can issue a citation.
Manager Stainert sent his report. We've also been getting reports on a weekly basis. Anybody with questions for him on his report?
CoLogic project, excuse me. I know you've been in talks with, is there a time to get a little more in depth?
With when they're going to start the project and everything else?
Whatever can be shared, I guess.
It's pretty open.
Yeah, it's open.
We had a code board, not code board, a ABR meeting, code application was submitted. Went through the development plan of that site, approved, so they're gonna start breaking ground very shortly. We're waiting for civil engineering to be approved, through Paris. We're also submitting building permits to the county, review, support for that. So if you'd like, I can send out a copy of the approved site plan that everybody's aware of. Have buildings that they're going to initially start with, and then do electrical demands. Probably have to slow walk the other build-out phases of it. That site plan should be kind of everything you want. As far as timelines go, it's really up to the applicant. Fast or as slow as they want to go. There is an expiration date on some of these particular pieces, but I would say it's we're not that.
When you said they were going to be breaking ground soon. It's like quarter 2, 2026?
Check. Yeah, I would say,
Or sometime in
yes,
26?
I would say they are going to start breaking ground, maybe first quarter or second quarter, as much as weather would permit. They are gonna start to see some activity on that site. LRE site is already seeing activity if you've been out there. That is a parcel that is neighboring the Lodge's site, so the substation for the electricity is already starting to break ground and have momentum. Permitting for utilities is a little bit different than a regular project. So utilities don't necessarily have to be a regulated process that's supported all the other applicants. They're a public utility, so that was all really reviewed in-house for conformity. As long as they met all of the requirements, it's moved on.
Whatever opens first, do we have any kind of indication of the number of jobs?
It's based on our conversation with them, they were, so with the data center, it depends on how many clients they have in there. And each of those clients wants it set up different for them. So one data center may have 5 or 6 customers in it. Each of those customers may have different requirements for how many people, but based on conversation with, there's not going to be many, but tailor it for each.
There's coming around to close the circle. Did they indicate? I mean, I'm just curious if, let's say, once we do that proverbial ribbon cutting and their doors are open for business and they have clients, talking 5 to 10 or?
I'd say under 25.
We'll check with the original.
I don't need a hard answer. Just under 25 is good enough.
I don't know, because they were also very interested in working with the school for workforce development, so, I mean, I think it, long-term, it's gonna be a lot, but short-term, yeah, probably.
Okay. Good to know.
Maybe, that's for the LRE site. You're talking about could be for the LRE. If Saddle and Duncan, that might be the LRE, but
How many buildings are they wanting to build if they can get people?
I think it's 8.
So they're starting with 2, correct?
Correct.
They have to wait to get the electricity.
So, we did meet with them. They have proposed, when appropriate, of a tour, as well. So, that's in the report. If you would like to schedule that, so as soon as we get something confirmed from them, we'll certainly reach out to all the council. You guys, be able to answer some of the questions. Yeah, as far as the CRA application, there is some wording in there that delineates the number of employees that are associated with it. Past that, I believe, last summer. So certainly something we can go back and check on the record. The application.
Any other questions for Mr. Stainer?
The other business with the outer coating. Is there any update with it that you can share?
They're moving along. They've purchased the building. And all of those things were approved through the site plan.
Got a sign there.
What's that?
I saw they have their own sign there.
Yes.
When I met with them a couple months ago, they talked about not, this period of time, they're doing the training, getting employees trained up, but they wouldn't start operations till like the first quarter of next year.
Ramping.
How many employees? Can they open doors?
No, I can't remember either.
I would imagine that's kind of full scale building size, right? Not gonna be.
Year 80?
It was a certain percentage of year.
Yeah, I wanna say initially it was like 50 to 75, something like that, and then.
Over time,
Yeah.
a couple of years, do we know that total
They're
number?
gonna add what, like 10 year over the next 5 years?
It's not gonna be thousands.
Not
No,
gonna be,
no.
no, it's not gonna be like.
It'll be,
It'll be under 150.
It's in one of the previous packets. We'll go back in the file and see if we can find it.
you don't need to do the extra work. I just, the update is appreciated of, groundbreaking and estimated time of when they're gonna be opening, do, Donnie, you had said that they're kind of ramping up, doing some training and stuff. Does that mean that, are they looking to hire?
Yes, they've had a couple hiring clinics. They've advertised hiring clinics. I know they were looking for like a general manager or a facilities plant manager, different positions like that. And they did hiring fairs there for a while. Jobs Ohio was there, a couple other organizations.
Thank you.
Okay, no other questions for Mr. Stainer. We're moving forward. Public hearings of legislation. The first is ordinance 12-2025, an ordinance to accept an amendment to the official zoning map of the city of Johnstown. Mr. Stainer, I'll let you bring this up, and I think we have the applicant here.
Catch up here. So, anytime you have a rezoning request, text amendment, modified ordinance, it has to be a specific set of procedures, notices, public hearing. This started with planning and zoning. Planning and zoning had made a recommendation after hearing, getting the submittal material, move it on for recommendation of approval from council. Trevor had put together a staff report associated with it, outlining his recommendation. Forward with that next process that we have for you all tonight. Hearing goes on tonight, and hearing, the next council meeting, there will be a vote. What we do is change the site, which is currently shopping, use commercial application for quite some time, but part of the cleanup that we're doing is technically zoned residential. So residential uses are residentially related. So as it operated before from a mechanic's garage for eons, has no longer, the owner no longer has a desire to keep it as a mechanic's garage, so that non-conforming, legal non-conforming use moves aside. And so if someone were to come to us with an application for a different use, of a commercial use, we would have to look at the zoning. Obviously, it's residential, that wouldn't afford them the right to have commercial use there. So I'm giving you the long explanation because we'll probably have another one right behind it, just a couple parcels down from this specific one, which is going to be doing the same request to this council. So again, we're cleaning some things up. This helps the property owner as much as it's a laborious process for lending purposes or resale purposes. It helps clean things up to afford the property the commercial zoning that it needs. That way, at a later date, it can't be removed or if the application would expire or some other various trigger that would happen. It also helps add up more signage. And there's a number of things that's going to help. And the applicant is here. They don't have to speak, but if you have questions for them, I wanted to point out they are in the audience.
Anyone have any questions for the applicant that they would like to ask while they're here? Mr. Speck, if you could come forward.
How you doing, sir? You still own the building, correct? Do you have any plans for it? If you want to share, you don't have to share.
Not now, I need to open it up to see what I can put in.
Okay.
Now, like you said, it's getting shop only or back to residential. So I'll have more options.
Okay,
I don't know yet.
I got you.
Just
You're
wanna
looking to,
remodel it the right way if I'm gonna do it.
and you're still looking to retain ownership. All I mean, thank you, sir.
Anybody else have questions for him? Thank you, sir. So this is, I'm gonna open up the comments from citizens if they have any comments tonight or questions. Anyone have questions, comments? Okay. This is the first reading of this. The second reading will be in 2 weeks. We'll vote on it then. But if anyone else does not have any questions, we'll move forward.
To operate as a commercial property for since I rolled into town in '06.
How many years do you think it's been a commercial property? How many years do you think it's been commercial?
Was it
Okay,
I was
so
gonna say,
we're
my
not,
whole
longer
life,
than
I
that?
don't.
Was there ever a house on
There
it?
used to be this Ohio gas station before
so
you bought it.
we're not changing anything for the community here.
Yeah.
All we're doing is just making the paperwork catch up.
If you look at the
Correcting it, yeah.
zoning map, right across the street is also
Same
just
thing.
as you want. You're really not.
If we don't, it hinders respect in the business that there's not much they can put there, except a house.
I get that.
Or another mechanic shop, which we're not.
I don't think you need to come back. I don't think you need to come back.
Another important piece, because we do have an audience, and I did want to distinguish a lot of applicants. A lot of factors that go into this. I gave you the wave top version. One of the other determining factors is, does it match your comprehensive plan? That's the point of doing a comprehensive plan. It does meet that criteria. It's not in the comprehensive plan. The headwaters have to face with this would be much more challenging because it hasn't been thought out. A long-term plan shaped in that direction. So the recommendation could then be the comprehensive plan to align with whatever alternative you're wanting. So that is something that's a specific criteria associated with the site. The fact that it's existing is also a criteria. So there's some delineating factors. We want to point those out. Anyone watching at home that has a fear that something along their route may just flip to commercial, that's not the exercise that we're doing. One indicator of that with the comprehensive plan that will tell you where it belongs.
Next, Teresa, I have a question on this. These both being ordinances, why are they separated on the agenda?
Because the rezoning has a different process, so tonight was the public hearing. Normally, there's just an introduction and then the public hearing and vote at the next, but the way the ordinance is for amendments to the zoning, you have your public hearing.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something else.
No, it's different.
Okay. Introduction of legislation, this is ordinance 13-2025, an ordinance to amend section 730 of the city's codified ordinances. So there was discussion at a safety and service meeting 2 weeks ago about the food truck permit and the process that it is. So there was some items with the permit that the city worked on in the last 2 weeks to make it easier for food trucks and to simplify the permit, get rid of some things that are just really unnecessary for the city to have to review, speed up Teresa's time, make it easier for the applicant. For example, proof of Ohio Department of Taxation transient vendor's license, we were striking that. There's a few items here that we're striking, and it just changes some small things like changing from village to city on the ordinance. So, did I miss anything there, Teresa?
I mean, the goal on this, like I said, when I brought this to service, this was feedback that came from the public. A food truck comes in, some of these things are just unnecessary. We're not, we're not helping with public safety here. We are not doing anything that really helps our businesses. We're not doing anything that really helps anybody with some of these. We're not collecting extra tax. So again, we're just trying to cut red tape here, make it easier to work with everything.
Anything else, Teresa?
No, I think I got all of your requests crossed off. If anybody sees anything else they want to change before next meeting, we can talk about it now. Next meeting will be the public hearing.
Does citizens have any questions or comments? I'm just going to open up to them if they have any. Hearing none. Anybody else on council? Okay, this is the first reading again. Next, or in 2 weeks, we will have the second reading and the vote on it, so. Moving right along.
Mr. Mayor, yes, apologize to backtrack, but under section 14, lists out a daily, monthly, and annual permit. But scanning through this, I don't see where there are guardrails around, where if you buy an annual permit, clearly states that they operate every day. Same location.
There is something in there you cannot.
Is it, Joe?
That is a good,
What is it?
and that's a good call out because it is $10 a day and they're only allowed to operate 3 days in a rolling consecutive period. So that would be $30.
3 days on one property though.
True.
If you're at Old Coglin up there, across the dividing line, properties, down to Kroger, after that, that's kind of the loophole in the law.
Yeah, so if you had a different food truck, you could operate, you know. There are 3 different ones that operate at the tractor supply, so they kind of rotate, but I was gonna say the math, I guess they could pay for a monthly, get away with the 50, but
I just want to make sure that the language of the ordinance reflects the intent. I don't want to be confused. I don't want to be going to court.
I think your call is valid.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense mathematically. If they can only do 3 days in a rolling day cycle, yeah, we have a $50 permit for operating a month. I don't see where anyone would ever operate for a month, $50 in 3 days. The same thing with 200. I haven't done the mathematics on that.
360.
The 360, there is some cost savings in the operating annually, but the $50 operating per month, rolling calendar of it, I'm looking at now without digging into it further.
It comes down to to operating on one property.
I don't know if it would follow the permit or the property. I would assume it would follow the permit. Have to file another permit to another property.
the same food truck.
Can move on.
It's something
Since
to-
since it's
it's
just the
something to
first
look
reading,
at.
come back.
Yeah, we can get some.
If we can-
clarification on that.
I mean, if we're gonna update the ordinance, I wanna make sure it reflects council's vision for how food trucks are gonna operate inside.
It's a good thought. I'll let.
Okay, anybody else? Moving on to other business, I will start over on the left-hand side of the table, Mr. Orsini.
Gonna bring it up again, crosswalks get ignored. Was flapping my umbrella today, and the truck was running down, hit the brakes at the last minute, and, gave the old, I'm sorry, but 20 miles an hour is not being respected through the school zone. I know we can't be everywhere all the time, but I just want to remind everyone out there to talk to your families, talk to your children, people cross the street. Kids don't cross the street at the right place all the time, too. I see kids jumping off where there's not a crosswalk. I just don't want it to be terrible. I know we're gonna try to work with the school, try to find out a better process for that, but, parents have to walk their children to the crosswalk. Until about, it depends on your kid. You get to about 6th grade, maybe you're okay, but, I mean, 4th graders, 5th graders, that's Dart City time. That's the age group where, they see one car stop and they take off running. My older boys who have crossed always say it's one car always stops, the other side that doesn't. I don't know what the answer is. Lights are blinking. I'm standing there. I walk out in the street. As I walk to the crosswalk, trucks burling through the city. It's just frustration for me. I just want to see if there's anything we can do.
How the fire department has the, no stopping zone out in front of their driveway apron, right? All the stripes. Is it possible to, that's just a crosswalk to extend, that's a drive out from the school. Is it possible to,
I don't know what we're allowed to paint on the street.
What to
I don't
paint?
know if it'll help. The lights are blinking.
I know that, but.
They're blinking and I'm standing there and they're just.
Anything that helps draw attention to somebody stopping.
I did ask Jack to get a quote on the stand-up signs that were downtown that destroyed.
Like in the center of the
That
road.
set in the center of the road, that maybe we could set something in the center of the road there, maybe draw more attention to people stopping.
Whatever it can be, I'm all for it. I'd like to line up every police officer we have and just ping them all every time.
Well, we did have a state
It's not
trooper that was sitting
functional.
at the church, and he was bringing in
All
some
right, well,
people.
no, there's been, but you can't be there every day. There's gotta be a different solution. We can't. I get it, but I mean, that's, I understand. Whatever we can do, it's not good, and I don't get it. I don't know if
We
they're, I don't
are
know
gonna
if they're
do something
community
with this.
members, I don't know if they're people from out of the community. The trucks are probably not people that live here. It's just don't stop. I saw a state highway patrolman pull someone over. I saw your officers there. Usually they stop when your guys get out. Do a great job. They get out and all of a sudden everyone's paying attention. Lincoln County Sheriff's been there a couple times, but I mean, it's just it's a daily thing. I don't have a solution I'd offer. I want to make sure we're mindful of it.
My understanding, Explore Licking County Board of Directors has a vacant Board of Director position. Explore Licking County is travel and tourism based, if you will, to nominate somebody. That I think they're looking for somebody from Johnstown community, specifically maybe a city council member, but I would like to nominate Councilwoman Hollis for this position. It does take some action on our part to show that the recommendation is coming from council as a whole. It cannot come from an individual unit, so I didn't know if it appropriate here under other comments that we can take action to
Do
make
they need a
motion.
resolution, or do they just need?
I feel like it's just a motion, if I'm not mistaken.
Does anyone have a problem with Ms. Hollis doing this? Ms. Hollis have a problem doing this?
So I could make a motion that council
Council approves.
approve a recommendation for Councilwoman Hollis to be considered for an empty seat on the Explore Licking County Board of Directors.
Jeff Clark,
Yes.
Bob Rossini, Dave Seeland,
Yes.
Brian Green, Tiffany Hollis.
I don't know.
You can vote for yourself.
You can vote for yourself, yeah, do it.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Mayor Barnard. Wes Coble.
One last thing, the time before, the middle school and high school report cards came out before, but now the intermediate school, grade 4, 5, it's a little offsetting when their report cards came out. So fourth grade in our school system is when kids start to receive grades, and there's acknowledgement of many of the kids that were on the straight A honor roll, the AB and 1C, I think. There was a lot of students there for just grade 4 and 5, so congratulations to those children that made that, those honor roll designations, and thanks to the teachers and administrators that helped them get there. So I just want to acknowledge the good work of kids that are receiving grades for the first time in our school system. Good work, and keep it up.
The three on council all got grades for the first time, right?
Those kids were on those?
Bob's, mine, and Dave's were all first time getting.
Look at that, I had no idea.
Getting grades.
Letter. I got letter grades.
Well, from like satisfactory to.
Yes.
Oh, well, they
Letter
actually,
grades.
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. We will not.
Father of the Year
I-
award right here.
I'm in the disciplinary department. And I haven't been notified, so all's well.
Bad grades.
Well, there's
Exactly.
more than just some of the council people's
notify the judicial
children
branch.
on those lists.
We will not tell Molly to watch the video.
There's a
No
lot
chance.
of, there's a lot of kids on there that deserve the extra recognition for their good work in the school.
Total? Mr. Seeler.
Come back.
Mr. Green? Hollis. Sheila. All right.
I got one if you want.
Go ahead, yeah.
Last. Beat last. So there was discussion about the 37, this last council meeting. There was discussion on it. We reached out. I sent you all an email. We're trying to connect with American Structure Point, have what's called a public interest meeting. We typically like to have these aside from the council and committee that affords the ability and the focus of the attention specifically be on that particular project. So they have gotten back with me. One night they have proposed would be the 11th. I have proposed the time of 5:30. So if the council is agreeable to December the 11th, we can certainly inform them that that is the desired date. We'll likely have it here in council chambers. Already checking.
Did you say 6:30?
5:30.
5:30.
Already checking the calendar to make sure we don't have a conflict. I don't think we do.
December 11th.
December 11th,
What day of the week is that?
Thursday.
It's available.
So I'll reply if there's no objection to December 11th. This is a public interest meeting. So the opportunity for a presentation to be given and some interaction with residents that may have questions, concerns. We can compile these questions and concerns and obviously give feedback to you all in an appropriate manner. If modifications can be made or suggestions, certainly vet those, have a deeper dive into the discussion. Next council meeting would not be until January though, so
Is TID gonna be there?
PID will probably have some representation, as well as American Structure Point. You can also ask our engineers to be in attendance, if desired, explore kind of the model and which they want to go about it. They're pretty standard for them to do these, so I'm confident that American Structure Point have a practice and a policy that they utilized in the past to kind of do these. I have not gotten any feedback from ODOT yet for the public information session on the 37 resurfacing Leaky Dell. The project began 5 years ago. Resurfacing of 37, pretty self-explanatory. As we probably draw closer to that timeline, we want to do some information pieces as far as detours, shutdowns. We'll have a better idea of what that looks like the closer we get. Obviously, we've got to bid out the project, and then once we get the contractor involved, then we'll probably have some blocking. Again, that one vetted quite some years ago. The scope of that one is not changing significantly, except that we're adding some additional curb cuts. We can put in sidewalks at a later date. We have those in place now. We can have that connectivity. Later on that. Give an update on those two specific pieces, and then also, I didn't hear any opposition, so now.
No, I think it's great. We need to make sure we advertise that, and everybody share it, make sure that we get plenty of quick feedback.
No opposition, I'll connect with them and let them know that it's a date. The other information.
Yes, sir.
Certainly. I don't have all of the information off the top of my head, but I can tell you, as far as repaving Pershing, that is being looked at and evaluated. I can tell you, we haven't got all the way through the budget. It is the desire, last year, this capital improvement project was proposed, that Pershing would have some resurfacing associated with it, have some crosswalk incorporated, or at least large infrastructure associated with those crosswalks. We'll often laugh, a ad that goes nowhere. But eventually, something's going to connect to it, so the time to do that is now. taking advantage of that opportunity as much as possible, obviously, within the right of way that we currently have. So I can get you some more details as those start to unpack. a little. I would say Jack's gonna answer this, but I can tell you the easy answer is yes, it'll be addressed, and that's part of the scope of the project. They did some drilling, associated with core samples and all the other infrastructure. Not even when we have projects.
Capping, this past weekend, definitely another good breakfast at the Legion. So definitely good to see all the faces there. Tomorrow night is a community outreach. A new group has formed, going under the header of One Town, One Table. Johnstown's on a mission. We're providing meals for families that are in need. Not a community, come eat, sit at a table like the Legion breakfast is. It's more of a direct outreach to families, whether it's a family, an individual, kids or not, to provide meals that can nourish them in times that, especially now where there's some definite economic stress, but also obviously then the additional stress of trying to provide during the holidays. That initiative is starting. That first night is at the Legion tomorrow night. We run for 4 consecutive Wednesdays. It's a great group led by Delaney Robinson and Monica Garnert. And basically, again, providing meals directly to families, handing them directly to them. It's in cooperation and continuing conversations with the 2 food banks in town, the resources that are available through families, through the school, counselors. So it's a big tie together to make sure people are aware of what resources are available, not only in the city of Johnstown, but then also through Licking County, but then also then a direct way to benefit and alleviate a little bit of stress by providing a good, nutritious, quality meal, cooked for and provided for by many residents here in Johnstown. So, and it's not necessarily, hey, everyone come eat. It is a support initiative to help families in need and give them something that they really need during this time. I do want to revisit one of the topics from finance. And before, because this was brought up last week too, about the $10,000 from the city to sponsor the fireworks. Recap me what was discussed in finance today.
So it is in the budget, but is on the list of things that we're going to discuss with council the first week in December to find out. It's one of the items that has been marked, council want to go forward with this item or not. So it's in the budget as of now. The council will be discussing it on the 2nd, decide if we want this piece in there or not.
Discretionary spending as a leisure activity is greater than just a finance committee's decision.
Absolutely. And are there any concerns from any of the current or incoming council?
No, the basic concern is money. Right?
Definitely.
We're a 1% town, so any major expense, especially when it falls into the leisure category, has to be, in my opinion, needs to be discussed by the full body to come to a decision versus coming out of one committee saying, hey, this is what we think. And then potentially having put it in a position of voting the entire budget down, right? Because if you agree or disagree, I want those discretionary spendings to be discussed ahead of time, not used potentially as a lever and getting rolled in a bigger budget discussion and making it potentially choppy for the whole process versus looking. There's a couple more we were looking at. And say, hey, we'll leave it in there, not then a budget, and then yes or no on the budget based on a few line items that you may agree or disagree with.
So, before we go into that, I do want to give absolute clarity to what that $10,000, if that were to be reduced or eliminated, I want to give full clarity to what that would do. As I think most people here either saw or attended the fireworks. Some of you did, right? So I want to give full clarity to how a loss of $10,000 hit. Would eliminate the donations and the participation that went with Big Red Band Boosters, Johnstown PTO, Johnstown High School's National Honor Society, Johnstown High School's, the CCL, the Johnstown CCL, the Johnstown cheer team, the high school's athletic boosters, high school soccer program, JYA wrestling team, the JYA 11U select team, 2 Boy Scout troops, Angels Persist, other local businesses that pledged and donated what was essentially their expense and their work that they provided to the fireworks. They took that in turn and then turned it around to other JYA interests, most namely softball. It also provided all the free face painting, all the free balloon animals, caricature drawings, brought in the Highland Cows, all the food for the first responders, police, fire, more than 100 free desserts, kids of Johnstown, and also then allowed the Legion to take over the distribution of the gold necklaces and the little tchotchkes that they were able to sell. Obviously then the Legion takes and then in turn reinvests into the community. All this was done through a grassroots effort, quite honestly. We were able to put together a good number of donations from local area businesses. Some are actually, insisted on remaining nameless about their donations. We wanted you to kind of keep in mind that removing that $10,000 would return the fireworks to pretty much the level that we were at before, so eliminate all the other stuff, because $15,000 goes to fireworks, a couple hundred, a little more than 1,000, quite honestly goes to signage. So we would have to take a look at not supporting digital impressions. We'd have to go possibly take a look at printing them outside elsewhere and having them shipped in. So supporting digital impressions. The band, again, we'd have to take a look at figuring a way to reduce or eliminate the cost of the band, which again is a local effort, and then also Portage. So we're looking at taking a look at wiping out the vast majority of the event that we had last year if we remove that $10,000. We don't charge admission. We don't charge for anything else other than people just to come and they pay for their food. Again, the vast majority of desserts were free. We took the food truck participation fees, like usually right around $100. We turned those into meals that, again, police and firefighters both enjoyed, but then also gave to families that they knew, because again, they deal with them on a semi-regular basis, that were in need. You're wiping out a lot, if you consider that. Before finance and anyone else on council, either this year or next, decides to erase that line, I definitely understand it's discretionary funding, but I think last year's event was one of the best. Doesn't mind if you decide to take that $10,000 out.
Anything else? A reminder, the council's meeting on the 2nd and the 9th of December. The Santa Parade is the 6th. And on the 9th, we will have Santa here. We're going to do something like we did last time. It'll be a shorter council meeting, but we're going to have kids of council and kids. She's got grandkids, even though she's younger than me. That will be active on council, and we're going to come up with a resolution. Dave, if you could work on something here that the kids could do again. With Santa. So we'll have that as part of our 9th, since Santa's coming on the 6th. Yes. If you did not watch the meeting last year, the second one in December, it was a riot with the kids. They had a lot of fun. So please come for that one. It'll be a lot of fun. So I think that's all I've got. So I'm asking council to bear with me on this one, because it's going to be a little complicated. We have 3 items in executive session tonight that we need to discuss. I'm going to make a motion that the 3 newly elected council members will be joining January 10th. For the first part, that's only 5 minutes. That is the least confrontational, or not confrontational, but the least complicated part. And then that they leave, and then the other 2 parts that our attorneys here for, that they depart for that part. So you know what I'm making the motion for. I make a motion that we move to executive session concerning the employment, dismissal, compensation of a public employee to prepare for a collective bargaining matters required to be kept confidential by law, include all council members, current council members, city manager, and our attorney, followed by an executive session to consider the employment of a public employee, include all council members, 3 additional council members, and our city manager. Yes, and the chief, and the
For
first,
the first
for the first piece. the
related to
chief.
collective bargaining.
Have the chief. Would it be easier if I just did one at a time?
I don't know what I'm agreeing to, so it's gonna be a no.
Maybe that would be helpful. Thank you.
So, I'm going to do the first one, easier one. I'm making a motion for executive session to consider the employment of a public employee, because to have all of council, city manager, and our 3 future council members to attend that session. One second. That's item 17. 16.
16, right? Okay, so you're, just making sure. Who was the second?
If we do it that way, can we briefly meet the 7 of us first? I'm not exactly sure what that is, and then bring in the 3 elected.
I could go
can get
for
behind
myself as well. That's not to be anything.
Okay, sounds good, just the 7 for that. Okay. Get behind that.
Mayor Barnard. Wes Cobble. Jeff Clark. Bob Orsini. Dave Sealand.
Yes.
Ryan Green. Tiffany Holland.
I would make a motion to move to executive session concerning the appointment, dismissal, compensation of a public employee to prepare for collective bargaining matters required to be kept confidential law, include just the 7 council members, the city manager, chief of police, and our attorney. Get out these.
Second.
Mayor Barnard.
Yes.
Wes Cobble. Jeff Barr. Bob Orsini. Dave Sealand. Ryan Green. Tiffany Holland.
There'll be no business to follow. Thank you guys for all coming.